What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here today, and we're not alone, guys. It's Thursday, same time, all the time. It's the Southside boys here today, guys, and we're here for episode number 7. Can't believe we've already done 7 of these, and this might be the most positive episode yet, besides the first few that we did, because this is, it's as sad as it is, this is the best week that they've had since we've been doing the show. And after last week and how miserable it was, as I said last week at the end of the show, nothing could be worse, and it could only be better. So we lost the first 3 to the Rays, and we were feeling all sad, and we knew, and we were like, okay, here we go. And it was not good and not pretty. And then Sunday comes, a rainy day in Chicago. They're down. They're doing the same stuff. They're blowing the game. And we're getting ready. I'm getting ready to take a shower. I'm getting ready to just try to enjoy my Sunday. And I'm like, let me hold on a minute. And the Sox decide to put up miracle happen, and they score 7 runs. They scored 5 with 2 outs, and Andrew Vaughn came up, hit a 2-run home run, ended the 10-game winning streak, and finally put some life into this team. They had an off day Monday, but they shook the team up a little bit by placing Romy Gonzalez on the IL. They called up Tim Anderson. They designated for assignment Jake Diekman. Thank God. Pray, baby Jesus. I was waiting for that day. And they did what they called up Hanser Alberto back, and they tried to do what they had to do to try to just make something. And first 2 games versus the Twins, they come out, they win 2 out of 2. We're feeling good. And then today obviously happened. They had a chance to win. They did not. They lost the game, and they ended, and they just kind of fell flat. And we'll talk about it. I want to get what your guys' thoughts about bringing in the rookie in that position, because I feel like that wasn't the best spot to bring him in. But they lose 7-3 today. They take 2 out of 3 from the Twins. They take 1 out of 3, or they lose 3 out of 4 to the Rays. They go 1-6 against the Rays in the season series, but at least we're done with the Rays. And now we're going to go this week. We're going to play the Reds, and then we're going to go play Kansas City Royals. But before we talk about the Royals and the Reds, there's a lot to get to, because we, like last week we were here, we were all sad. It wasn't very good, but we got some win under our belts. We had a few walk-offs. Walk-offs are the best. And yesterday we got a win. It was kind of easy. It's never easy with this team. But guys, how are you guys feeling after the last week? Deech, I'll start with you.
There's been improvement since we all went on our rants about the team, but it's nothing to sit there and be like, we're going to the World Series or like going to.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean, it honestly depends how quickly we can get Yoan Moncada back, because obviously Jake Berger went on the IL now. So
yeah,
I mean, that's going to be an issue up until one of those 2 returns. But I mean, we got great news about Liam Hendricks yesterday.
Yes, I wanted to actually take a whole thing about that, but yeah, Liam Hendricks, it looks like he's going on a rehab assignment, and he might be back by next week.
So I mean, adding those to the bullpen, I mean, that game doesn't play out like it did as it did. So because we were also down short Kelly because he's on what is it?
Behavement League. That's right.
Yeah, for his I think his wife had a baby.
That's right. He was one of the other 11 roster moves. I was trying to get it up, but my phone is having issues and it's all wet, so I can't really. Yeah. So, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so that's about it. I mean, there were some good wins. Games that were complete where they played solid baseball, where you didn't see a lot of errors. Today, obviously, there was, I think, 2 errors.
Yeah. And the one with Anderson, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he just did not
trying to pay attention to the runner too much, and it just kind of
can't look at the runner, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we get to play Cincinnati and Kansas City now. So I mean, if you wanted to play teams you can beat up on, those 2 would be ones I think you should be able to. So we'll just see how it plays out, I guess.
Exactly. Justin, opening remarks. How are you feeling after the last week?
I mean, kind of like what Deech said, it's impossible to feel worse than we felt when we were on here last week. And then on top of that, So it's tough because they still have a losing record since we filmed the last show. Like they lost the 3 to Tampa and then today, and they only won the 3 that they won in a row. So it's hard. It's hard to be like, I feel good. I think the Liam Hendricks shit's awesome. That's been the best thing that's happened for them all season, is seeing all of that. Deej, you mentioned how the bullpen looks different when they get him and Crochet back. But on a day like today, they didn't lose because they didn't have the arms in the bullpen. They got to the what was it, the 12th inning with guys starting on second base. The issue was that they couldn't drive in runs, and so that just brings me back to they couldn't get bunts down. They can't get guys in from third with nobody out. You're just starting to see these are the issues that plague them, that have always plagued them, that have plagued them for years. And you still see it, it's showing its face when they have a chance to sweep a series from the first place team. And we could be sitting here talking about how they're 6 out with all this season left to go and be having a different conversation. So it's nice. They've definitely looked better since I agree that Billy bringing him back has had at least a hand in changing the energy, something they did. It also coincided with getting Tim back. So it's hard to say for sure which of those is having the bigger impact in terms of like clubhouse morale, but they have looked at least like a more competent bunch the past few days, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, where it's like, today, like we went, I think Chuck said, because I was trying to listen to the first, I always try to listen like right before they go to the first commercial, but they went like 1 for 15 in runners in scoring position. We had second and third in the 8th and the 10th inning, nobody out. And I saw somebody say it on Twitter. That's White Sox baseball for you for some reason. They just don't know how to hit in runners in scoring position with nobody out. We've been seeing this for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, this is
Josh Fields.
Yeah.
Daniel Palco. Like I could go on, and it just like for years, it's just like it's a White Sox thing that they just don't want to hit that big hit, because it's funny, because they go down 7-3, and I want to mention it before I forget. Billy's on second, and Eloy comes up and hits a base hit. And if we could have just got that in the goddamn 10th inning, as you said, we'd be talking about the different show. And it's so frustrating, because it's like, yes, they intentionally walked Benintendi and Robert and Eloy, and they were trying to get away because they were trying to find the easiest batter, and they did what they needed to do. And it's just one of those things. It's just so frustrating, because as you said, I literally rewrote the show in my head about 15 times since watching the 8th inning to the 12th inning, because I was like, are we talking about a sweep? Are we talking about 2 out of 3? What are we talking about?
Right.
So, yeah, and that's the biggest thing. But the first thing I want to start off with is the bullpen, because yesterday and, today the bullpen did exactly what they did. And, we've seen some guys, Middleton is a savior. Oh my, Deech over here, Middleton's the man, and he's him. He really is. He's like, I don't know. But before we get into all that, I want to tell all the 11 roster moves that happened on Monday, because there is somebody that I didn't mention that none of us have mentioned, is also Oscar Colas being optioned to Charlotte. Lennon Sosa was optioned, but then as Deech said, Berger was hurt yesterday with an oblique strain, with him swinging at a high fastball or slider or whatever pitch that was. And he'll be out probably 2 to 3 weeks, probably, because don't want to mess with those obliques. So we got, him, that, and, Lennon Sosa is obviously back. We saw Jake Diekman be designated for assignment, and Frank German, I'm assuming he was in AAA. Joe Kelly, as you guys said, was put on the parental. What is that? What is that called? Paternity list. There we go. I was thinking, there we go. And then obviously, we also had Colomé come up. He was the other one that I forgot about. But Colomé came in, and it's one of those, I don't know, man. I don't even want to talk. I can't believe we're talking about Alex Colomé on the White Sox in 2023. So those were the 11 roster moves, and Billy came in and he brought that spark, and it was like something needed to happen, because after losing 10 in a row and having that win on Sunday, and it's like, as phenomenal as it was really only one win. And it's like, I'm hoping that it can build to it. And it did for 2 games. And again, we want to be too greedy, but it's like, as you said, we're still 8 games out. We could be talking about 6 with a lot of games left going into facing Cincinnati and the Royals, and the Twins and Guardians face each other. So that's kind of a thing where it's like if they could, this weekend is big because if they could somehow find a way to 2 out of 3 or sweep the Reds, they gain on somebody in front of them. And the Tigers learned how to play baseball again, I guess. So I don't know, but I don't really want to talk too much about the Rays series because we'll be here forever. But that game on Sunday was great. How many % chance did you guys think we had after the bottom of the ninth?
0. I mean, I turned it off.
He said 0. I turned it up. Deech, you have any hope?
I mean, I was watching the updates on my phone, but I did not expect them to win that game. No. I mean, they kind of just like lucked into that win, to be honest. It wasn't like anything spectacular, but whatever at this point. If you're just losing as much as we were, I'll take a win however you can get it. So.
However you can get it. So the bullpen, though, because the bullpen has been very good. But the two guys in the bullpen that I didn't think we'd be talking about. We've mentioned Liam Hendriks. Hopefully he comes back. And the fact that I heard Lucas say it, the fact that he's even going to be able to play this year is phenomenal. And the fact that he's just okay. It doesn't matter what the team does as long as Liam is okay. And it's like you wouldn't be able to tell that he has and went through everything that he did because the interview that he had is just crazy. So Santos and Middleton have come out of nowhere. Santos, I couldn't think of the guy's name. Who was it in 2005 versus the Red Sox that did the exact same thing?
Orlando Hernandez.
There we go. I was trying to look it up. I couldn't find the video. I was trying to find out who it was. And yeah, man, that was just bringing back all types. And that's when I was finally like, okay, things are finally going our way. And I was just like, that was huge. And Middleton has been huge too. The bullpen, I mean, he got the save last night, and he's been the one guy that's really has been consistent with as bad as the bullpen has been. So, Justin, with the bullpen and everything, I hope we do get Liam and Crochet back. But how do you feel about like Santos and Middleton didn't think these be the two guys we'd be relying on this early?
I think it just goes to show how poorly they allocated their resources. I bring this up quite a bit. The Graveman and Cal, those were bad. I knew those were bad the second they happened because this is how bullpens work. You find guys who just can come in and get a few guys out. You don't have to pay them. You don't have to break the bank for them. And now they cut payroll and they have money tied up in guys who they're no longer even going to in gigantic situations, which is just embarrassing. You can add it at the deadline. You can piece it together. You can figure out the bullpen. And they decided that they were going to pay for that to be their strength. And right now, the guys who they have the money tied up in have been awful. So it's great to see that these guys are stepping up and further proving, you don't have to go big for the bullpen arms. That you will find guys who can get guys out, and that's so far what those two guys specifically who you mentioned are doing.
It's all about getting those outs. And it's been good. The bullpen has had 6 quality starts now. Lucas, we can't look past what Lucas did today. Lucas Giolito did great again today. I mean, again, I want to ask you guys this too. Do you think, Deech, before we get to what you think about the bullpen, do you think we should have walked Buxton in the at-bat that he hit the home run?
You could probably make the argument to walk Buxton in any at-bat if you really want to. I mean, you can't even be surprised by it at this point.
Deech, what do you think? Do you think we just walk him, or do you think it was like, obviously what happened, but I mean, like, I
think it just comes down to you walk him if you know you're not going to be able to spot your pitches.
Yeah.
To just sit there and throw something and hope it gets over the plate and have it be right down the middle is definitely not something that benefits you because especially with a hitter like Buxton, who A, just murders the Sox, and B, just has just feasted on our pitchers the last 2 years. I feel like
so irritating.
So it kind of sucks, but it is what it is at this point. But going to the bullpen point,
yeah, go ahead and go talk about the bullpen.
I definitely agree with Justin in the sense of the allocation of money you can try and build a super bullpen, but there's very few guys that are like Liam Hendricks that you just go pay a bunch of money because whenever he goes out on the field, he is going to have it and give it everything he's got. There's times where Kelly or Graveman go out there. And Graveman has been a lot better recently, but I mean, you can't be getting paid millions and millions of dollars per year and just being completely wild walking into the game and like walking the first guy. And then when you can't find your control, that's what leads to big hits is you're just trying to get the ball over the plate. And then these are all major league hitters in certain lineup. I mean, the Twins lineup, I was waiting all series for Correa to sit there and smack the ball. And
I know. I was waiting for it too.
Were awful this series. They literally looked like a replica of when the Sox play poorly and to just swing at everything. That was exactly what the Twins were doing.
Yeah. And honestly, I as much as people, I have no sympathy for anybody. As much pain and everything that we've been, I have no sympathy for nobody. Nobody. I hope your team does that because but the bullpen, I mean, it's been good, and that is the thing where it's been so like. And hopefully when Liam comes back and everything, it's kind of more consistent. They can kind of figure out the 7th, 8th, and 9th, like who's going to be where and who's going to be what. Because I think that's the biggest thing. And it's like you said earlier, today would not have happened if Liam was there, just, because maybe there's a different outcome and everything. And, but we won 2 out of 3 versus the first place Twins. And it is what it is. They are still 10-20. What is it? 10-22 now. So
yeah.
They're still 12 games under 500. They're 8 games out of first place. And it's not obviously better. It's not good. But I also was looking at it too like this. We could be on here talking about them not winning at all and them getting swept by the Twins and being 12 games out. So, yes, maybe I'm trying to look at more of the positives. But they do go play 2 teams that they should be able to beat up on. And, the Reds and the Royals are 2 teams that, the Reds are playing the way that, I saw that they went on a little 4-game winning streak. And the Royals, I see the Royals play every day because obviously they're in our division and I just look. I don't know. But it don't matter what the Royals record is or whatever. They always play the White Sox the way that they play Royals baseball. So we go to these 2 next series, and before we do, what do you guys think about Oscar being called down or being sent down? Do you think that was the right call to do? Deech, if you want to start.
Yes. I mean, Oscar Colas showed very minimal. There were glimpses where you're like, all right, this guy's pretty good, but just watching games, especially on TV, if you watch it looked like Colas and Robert were very buddy, which is like whatever. But like it got to the point where there was a game where I sat there, Colas, the ball drops in front of him. He goes to cut it off because it was in the gap, misses the ball, and turns to Robert and just starts laughing, where it's just like, okay. I mean,
yeah.
I just think he's immature, and they put themselves in this situation where they said, we're going to sit and promote Oscar Colas and boosted him up to be, again, on a pedestal. What the front office loves to do is take these prospects and just put them on this pedestal and set extremely high expectations. And then when it doesn't happen, half of the fan base is completely appalled, where I just kind of saw it as I was not ever sure that he was going to be ready. And I sure was not one of the people who thought he was going to just hit 25, 30 home runs as a rookie. He didn't have barely any experience at AAA. So with his lack of production, and it was more even at bats, I just witnessed where there's a guy on second base. All you need to do is move the runner over. The situational hitting was not there. The knowing what to do in certain situations, I just didn't see from him. So figure it out in AAA, I guess. That's kind of all I have to say on it.
I mean, and he'll be starting every day, so I guess that is the good thing. Justin, do you have anything to say about Oscar? Good riddance. He's on AAA.
No, I think Deech said it really well. I think he had a really good point about, they just decided. it blows my mind that after so many guys have come up and failed to live up to expectations, that they were like, okay, right field this season, going to be another internal promotion, going to be another. And it blows my mind even more. Deech talked about people who thought he was going to hit 25 homers, that there are fans who fell for it again. Like, guys, we don't have your Julio Rodriguez's of the world. Guys don't come up for the White Sox and immediately become this, like, I mean, again, I always put an asterisk with the COVID season in 2020. But even that year, I mean, Robert completely blew the AL Rookie of the Year race down the stretch. We don't do this. These guys, and so for them to be like, oh, well, it's going to be a rookie in right field, and to think that it was going to have any different result than what it's had to this point is just, you haven't been paying attention enough. So I agree that it's good he's playing every day. I don't think he should have broke camp with the team. There should have been another plan for right field, but right field and second base, there's never a plan, and we find ourselves here again. So they don't have a right fielder. When have they ever had a right fielder? Since Jermaine Dye. Never.
Oh, who could forget Jermaine Dye? Yeah, man, Jermaine Dye is the best. And it's so funny because everybody always like, the 2005 World Series. I don't want to get too much into it because we could talk about the 2005 World Series. I still get goosebumps talking about it. But the fact that he won MVP and other guys didn't, it's so great because he scored the winning run in the end of the game. But you're absolutely right. Jermaine Dye was the last guy. But you know who we do have, right? We got Billy the Runner. And so great segue into the next guy I wanted to talk about before. Billy Hamilton, we mentioned him. He was with the Sox a few years ago. He went to Seattle. He did whatever. I didn't realize until today, though, the man doesn't have a hit since last July. So I didn't realize that. But him coming up on Monday, being a part of the 11 roster moves, and doing what he did on the base path and still doing what he did today was great. And it's one of those things that it's just what we needed was a little bit of energy in him and Tim Anderson. And yes, maybe, the lineup wasn't great. And I saw people having a mental breakdown about it today. And Tim maybe should have started today and, everything like that. But, it is what it is. And he came in the game anyway. But Billy just having that opportunity at the end of the game to steal the bases and be on the base path, and him taking up every opportunity that he possibly can is exactly what this team kind of needed, especially after Sunday and having the off day on Monday and everything. So in a way, he almost did win us 3 games. Like, he was going to be the winning run, 3 different opportunities today. And he stole the bases the last 2 games and did exactly. And the run he scored yesterday, like you talk about that we don't do anything. When was the last time a White Sox player scored from second base? I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait a second. I was like, halt. So I want to get what you guys think about, though, Billy Hamilton real quick. Justin, if you want to go ahead. I got to let one of my friends in real quick, so I'm going to take myself off. Justin and Deech, if you guys want to talk about Billy, I'll be right back in a second. I got some construction going on at my house, so I just got to let him in real quick. So go ahead and talk about Billy, and I'll be right back.
Cool. Deech, I think he's good. I think let me walk back on that. I think he's a good fit on this roster because he can provide so much that literally nobody else can. But I also think at the same time, he's really only valuable if you have the lead in games. And so for a team that, sometimes like today struggles to score runs, can't hit with guys in scoring position, can't get runners home, I don't know. It's going to be harder to build leads when you're using another roster spot on a guy like Billy, who's not going to be driving in runs and starting rallies with his bat, at least. I mean, he's a pinch runner, so someone else has to get on base, and then they have to do what they don't do and what they failed to do twice today when they had him on third base. He got to third base with no one out twice. But if they can't hit him in, then what does it even matter? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing with him. I think Pedro's going to need to learn when to sit and have him pinch run or have him come in defensively, because once you do that, like when he goes up to the plate, teams know this is a guy I absolutely need to get out.
Yeah.
So I think that's where today I feel like the bench as a whole, they cleared the bench real quick, I felt. Where
they went to Grandal for Sebi too.
Because Hazley came in for Sheets, and Sosa came in for Alberto at some point.
Sorry,
no,
guys.
Garza didn't come in for Alberto. They were both in the lineup, I think.
Yeah, Sosa got shifted. Well, then Tim Anderson came. I
Tim
just think
came in,
where.
So did you guys get done talking about Billy and everything? You guys?
Deitch was still kind of going a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just think with all the turnover in the current roster that Pedro's still kind of finding the sweet spot as to when to make these defensive substitutions or pinch runners because, I mean, and you can't even blame him. I mean, there's guys going down left and right. There's no consistency with the roster he's been given. So,
yeah, none at all. And that's been the biggest problem.
Front office, you had guys who you knew were going to be injury prone, and you left certain positions kind of just wide open for, we think we can make a cheap move to like put a Band-Aid on this spot. So it can be frustrating to watch sometimes, but I don't really
can.
Huh?
I said it sure can be frustrating to watch at times.
Oh yeah, frustrating to watch. Let me tell you. Oh my God. But yeah, so I mean, Billy, he's there to run the bases, and obviously he's not gonna do everything. So yeah, it is. Yeah. So he's not gonna be able to do everything. He can't hit and everything. But if he can go out there and run the bases, it is what it is. So it's good to have Billy back. And again, the biggest thing I feel like though is we talked about it is they needed some type of a shakeup. And shaking up the roster a little bit, bringing up those two guys, getting rid of a few, and obviously Sosa had to come back because of Berger. But obviously, we're just never going to get away from the awful injuries that we just have. I've just learned to deal with it. So now let's talk about the starting pitching though, because that's been one of the positives. So let's talk about a little bit of the, a little bit more of the positives, because at least we do have a lot of positives to talk about. We've seen a lot of good quality starts. We've seen Giolito do good. We've seen Kopech go out there and do good. We've seen Cease kind of struggle, but he still figured out a way and kept us in the game. And that's been the biggest thing is, them staying in the game. And yes, we're in the worst division in baseball. So it's like, as much as we're down and everything, we saw the Twins are not very good. The Guardians are not very good. So it's one of those things that it just like, if they could, it's like, it just that. And that's why the 8-6 makes me so mad, because I would have felt so much better going into this. But it's like, if they could just continue to play that way. But the starting pitching has been a big help going into 5, 6, 7 innings, giving the bullpen a little bit of a rest. So, Deitch, how do you feel about this rotation? Do you feel a little better? Do you feel a little bit confident? And I'll talk about the matchups for this weekend versus the Reds. But how are you feeling about the starting pitching after last week?
I mean, for the most part, it's been pretty good. The offense needs to do a better job of giving run support. I mean, Giolito went into the 7th today?
Yeah.
You can't. We had 2 runs up until the last. You have to score more than 2 runs when your pitcher goes out there and busts his ass and shuts down a lineup that does have players that. I mean, there's hitters on Minnesota. It's not that their whole team is bad. A lot of the guys on their team that hit for power were stifled, other than Nick Gordon, which I'm just sick of that guy.
I'm so sick of him.
Like, let's pinch hit Nick Gordon. And, of course, the White Sox broadcast. He's never – I
heard it. He never has hit pitch hit home run, and then he hits it.
And then he hits it right away, where it was just like, okay, we should all just be quiet at this point. Because
I love Jason, but he has no fear of the announcer jinx at all. He does not care if he wears that hat.
He does not care.
He will say anything in any situation where it was like, Hawk, like, didn't even, like, Hawk, you would just get dead silence because he'd just be so fucking nervous, like the end of like Burley's perfect game, and you could feel how nervous Hawk was and how he didn't want to say anything. And I love Jason, but they're just very, very different in that sense.
Oh, it is, and it's so funny that you say that, because I think about it now too, and now that you're saying that, I feel like I got all of what Hawk brought to the game is what I have. It's like maybe he put it into our ingrained, because literally everything you just said is exactly what I do. I don't say nothing. I don't.
Yep.
It's just like, well, you're right. Jason just has no filter. Perfect game. Dylan Cease, perfect game, 8 innings. Let's go. It's just like, oh my God. Speaking of that, though, I think we should blame Mr. Deach for not getting the sweep today, because this guy over here on Twitter says, after the Sox sweep the Twins, come and hang out with the Southside boys at 5:45.
Oh, Deech, you got to know better
we
than that,
blame
man.
Deach. Speaking of
we don't have it that good.
I was feeling so good going into
he said I was feeling so good. But
in all honesty, Giolito has been probably our most consistent starter. I mean,
he's pitching for a contract. He's not going to get it here, but he's pitching for one.
And it's so funny when these guys start doing that. They got to get a contract, and they go out there and bust their ass so hard, and then they get that contract, and then they go on the IL. So
Carlos Rodon. I
oh
feel
my God, I was just about to mention the Yankees. The Yankees got everybody on the IL. They got Rodon, they got Stanton, they got Judge, they got nobody.
Well, they did the same thing the White Sox did, which is it's not except they added Rodon, but it essentially was the same as the Sox in the last 2 off seasons. Come up short, evaluate the roster, and then decide you're going to go with almost the exact same team and expect different results. And I know they're hurt, but these are guys who are traditionally hurt for the Yankees. So it's a lot of the same thing with the White Sox.
It just and it's so funny because, like, as we're talking about the injuries and everything, it's funny because the Twins had a better roster this time that we faced them than last time, and we did better against them this time than we did last time, because last time we faced them, they didn't have Gallo, they didn't have Correa. I think Buxton played 1 game. Polanco was out a little bit, and it's just like, again, like we always talk about, like, playing up to the competition is, something that, So while we're talking about him playing up to the competition, let's start talking about the next 2 series, because the White Sox go up and they are going up against the Reds this weekend, guys. This weekend, May 6th, Saturday, guys, we'll be live for Backlash. Come and hang out with your boy Tino. And we're also celebrating his 27th birthday, so make sure you guys come and say what's up. But this weekend, going up against the Reds. Tomorrow, we got Lance Lynn taking on Hunter Green. Hunter Green is 0-1 with a 2.89 ERA. Saturday, on my birthday, we got Mike Clevinger taking on Nick Lodolo. He is 2-1 with a 6.6 or 6.16 ERA. And then on May 7th, we got Mr. Michael Kopech taking on Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver's 0-2 with a 7.88 ERA. And the Reds are 13-18, and they went on a little bit of a win streak, and they've kind of like went back and they've lost a few games and everything like that. So how do you guys feel about the Reds and this series? And I'm going to say, if we're going to go and play by what I did in MLB The Show, last time we did Tino's Gaming, I swept the Reds. I think I scored like 50 runs. So let's hope the White Sox do that in real life. What do you guys think? Just go in there and beat the shit out of the Reds in Great American Ballpark. But Justin, what do you think this weekend? What's your predictions for this weekend after hearing the matchups and after today's game and everything?
Yeah, I think I said this last week. We might have even gotten ahead to looking at the Reds a little bit. And it was just like, it's a hitter's park, like Sox Park, where they struggle to win games for the reason being that they don't utilize it and they don't hit home runs. So Eloy's starting to heat up. I mean, losing Berger sucks, but if Eloy, they're going to have to hit the ball out of the park to win this weekend. Right now, it's hard to say that you can count on that happening consistently and with guys on base enough to, win a series on the road, even against a team like Cincinnati. Obviously, they're the way better team on paper, and they have the better pitchers on paper for sure. I could see them taking 2 out of 3. It's got to start somewhere. I don't expect them to rip off 8 or 9 in a row out of nowhere. It's going to start with just winning series against teams you should win series against. So I think I'll take them to win 2 out of 3, even though I wouldn't normally do that. Now that they've won a series, I can though.
It's been done. We see it. It's possible.
Pop the cherry.
Hey, there we go. And that's the biggest thing. Hey, I don't care what happens. They better win on Saturday. I don't care. They better win on Saturday, man. I'm gonna fight them. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, it's just like they need to take advantage. They need to hit the ball. Eloy's hitting everything in sight. And it's like, that's good. And that's why he needs to realize why he's so important to the lineup. Because we see what he can do. he scored all 3 runs today. And if they gave him the opportunity, he probably wins us the game, but they didn't give him the opportunity. So it's going to be a big thing. And we, like Justin said, we've got the pitching matchups and everything like that. So, Deech, how do you feel and what do you think about this weekend?
Confidently, I would say 2 out of 3, I feel like is pretty respectable. I don't know that they'll sweep. They don't seem to. It's always the pitchers that walk in with a really bad ERA that for some reason they just try and like jump all over and are almost too anxious at the plate, where the guy winds up going like 6 innings and gives up 1 run, where you're just like, this guy's ERA was like 8 coming into the game, and you've now like cut it in half because you all just sat there and had. So I feel like one of those games will probably happen at some point, just with them being 2 guys who have ERAs over 6. One of those I could see being a loss. I'd like them to continue with their patience at the plate. I mean, not necessarily the complete game today, but the 2 games prior against the Twins, patience at the plate is what won them the game. Last night when TA took that walk, it was like a 12 pitch at bat.
Yeah.
That knocked Ryan out the next inning because he shot his pitch count up just with 1 at bat there, and their bullpen sucks. So I stuff like that matters, especially when you're a team that's struggling to sit and score runs. You cannot sit there and just go up hacking at everything. So.
And that's the biggest thing. Like we talked about earlier with the White Sox being White Sox, they just always seem to do that. It's always either a no-name guy, it's a guy that nobody's ever seen, or it's a guy that has a high ERA, and they go out and they look like a Cy Young versus us. Literally, 15 years I've been watching. I remember watching a game at my grandpa's house back in like 2011, and at the time, I can say it, the Indians had this pitcher. I forgot, he did like a 6-point ERA, and he comes out, he gives up 1 run, he strikes out 12, and I'm just like, I can't. So you're absolutely right with that. So that's the biggest thing, is where they should take 2 out of 3. I feel like, again, we talk about, they don't need to sweep. If they could just win series, win 2 out of 3, have a sweep here and there. And, and then if they could play up to these teams. And it's like, I was thinking about it too. We played the Rays, the Blue Jays and the Rays back to back to back. That's a hard 10 games of playing AL East opponents. And not saying that it was, it was going to be easy, and it's not, that's just the way it fell. But it's like, maybe if we do play something else, and as bad as it was, I don't know. But it's like, with them now having a little bit easier of an opponent with the Reds coming up and then the Royals, they should be able to take apart and take advantage of this opportunity. Sorry about the noise. We got construction. Hopefully it's not too loud. But yeah, so I'm going to say 2 out of 3. I would love a sweep. Birthday weekend, I would love to celebrate all week, celebrate backlash weekend, have a good week, and just win 3 out of 3 and everything like that. But yeah, 2 out of 3, I'd take it if we could just continue to win series against these teams. And again, have a sweep here and there, it would be nice. I don't expect them to win every game, and we can't expect them to win every game. And sweeping teams are hard. Like, I don't think people realize how hard it is really to sweep a team. And yes, we had so many opportunities today. And before we get talking about the Royals, do you guys think Hanser swung at that pitch today? Or do you think it hit him and he threw the bat? Because we could have won the game by that. Like, I think people, I don't want that to get kind of lost, because we may have won the game. And is that even challengeable?
No, he swung. I mean, it's a very unfortunate like rule and facet, but like he swung. He went all the way through the zone, so that's going to get called every time. It's just it's unfortunate. I don't know if you can necessarily challenge a swing whether or to begin with or not, but that would have never gotten overturned. It was the right call. It sucks.
I just wanted to mention that too, because I was thinking about it before we moved on. Because I was thinking about that. I'm like, why? Because I feel like if it was, they would have at least tried to. Because again, like that was I didn't care if that's the way we won. I didn't care. I was ready to celebrate. It all went down. So, but yeah. So I mean, if that's a swing, that is what it is. But hopefully, we do good versus the Reds this weekend, because they need to. They just need to play good and win 2 out of 3. Go up there and play good baseball. They don't got to go too far. Ohio's not too far, Moncada's going on a rehab assignment apparently, so he also should be back by possibly the Royals or next weekend series. I've only been trying to keep track 2 series at a time. Who do we play after the Royals? Is it it's the Astros? That's right. It's Abreu's return to Comiskey. That's right. Oh, I'm not excited. And I think isn't it a 4-game series? I think so. No, I think
is it? No, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Is it for okay? Oh my God, I was like, oh God. But I mean, and that's why these 2 series are so important, because going into the Astros, if they could get a little bit momentum and win 2 out of 3 and sweep, it would be very good. So after they go this weekend to play the Royals, we have 3 more days, and we go and have Dylan Cease taking on Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke still in the league? I low-key didn't even realize it, bro. Like, yeah. I remember watching Zach Greinke when I was like 11 years old, like in my stepdad's basement at the time, and like, oh, that's crazy. And then on Tuesday, we got Lucas Giolito taking on Jordan Lyles. Jordan Lyles is 0-5 with a 6.11 ERA. And then Wednesday, we got Lance Lynn taking on Brad Keller. And Brad Keller, if you guys all remember, Brad Keller's the one that had that incident with Tim Anderson and all that fun stuff. So Brad Keller 2-2 with the 3.56 ERA. That is Wednesday. So after this weekend, and depending on what happens, because again, the roller coaster of this fan base is crazy because everybody
Don't they play Kansas City 4 games this year?
They do. Thank you. They do.
If you're gonna
thank you, Deech. I thought they only played 3. I thought you're right. Okay, it is 4-game series. My bad. So even better. Okay. So and then Brady Singer 2-3 and 8.49 ERA. That's awful. And then we got Mike Clevenger going. Thank you I swear I don't know why did I think it was the 3 games. I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's 4 games. Thanks, Deech. Deech, you're taking over, bro. So, but we got a 4-game series. We play every day this week. So, how do you guys feel after this 4-game series? Because we'll be back here at the same time next week, and it is a day game on Thursday again. So, we'll be talking hopefully about a win on next Thursday, and hopefully not a game like this. But 4-game series versus the Royals. What are you guys thinking? And Deech, if you want to start this time.
I'm going to say 3 out of 4. You very rarely see a 4-game sweep. And it's similar to like when you add a doubleheader to a series. I just feel like if you win all of them, great. But I would not bet that they sweep the Royals. If you're going to sweep someone, try it with Cincinnati. The Royals. 4 games is just, and you're playing against, I mean, you would hope they'd go out and play well against the Royals for Pedro's sake, but who knows?
I'm praying. And that's the thing. That's the thing, man. If they just need to go out there and just and that's the thing. It's going to be Pedro's return to KC and Hanser's return to KC. It's a revenge game, as they like to say in the NFL. So it's very important. So 3 out of 4. And if you're going to say which one of those do you think that we lose out of the matchups that I said?
Probably the Braves.
I was going to say it's tough because they play a lot of games that don't make sense. So it's like so hard to be like, oh, well, they'll win this one because Brady Singer has the 8.94 ERA. But like we just said earlier, Tino, those guys seem to pitch their best against the Sox. So
why?
The math isn't really even there.
They hate us. I think I've learned that in this 10-game losing streak and then having the 3 little game winning streak. And I think they just hate us. I think that's just the problem, is they just hate us. Baseball gods, MLB, Rob Manfred, Adam Silver, all the owners in sports, they just hate Chicago and they don't like any of us. So, Justin, how do you feel about the Royals? What do you think after? Do you agree with Deech?
2-2. I think, taking 3 out of 4 on the road's tough. I mean, we've said the past couple of weeks how well Kansas City plays us traditionally. And again, it's just right now I haven't seen enough to be like, to think they're going to dominate a series. I'd love to see them take 3 out of 4. Much like the Cincinnati series, in starting pitching, they should have the upper hand in each matchup in theory. I I'm sure Greinke has 6 or 7 shutout innings in store for the Sox.
Oh,
Yeah,
we've literally been seeing this since like 2009.
I know.
Because he's not a lead anymore. Remember last year when we played? I think it was we played Houston and just like lit up Verlander the one game.
That's
just,
right. We scored like 5.
Yeah,
That's right.
And play the ace of the team very well, and then go up and act like we don't remember how to hit from the previous day and lose to their like starting pitcher who has the highest ERA in the room. It's just ridiculous. There's no consistency. They always press too hard against guys that they think are struggling enough where they can just tee off, and it never benefits them to go that route. So they need to just break that habit, just shove it away.
Please. Is that possible? Can we have nice things? Are we allowed or no? I think I just like that's the thing is can they just break some traditions? Can we win some games versus teams that we supposed to beat? Can we win series that we're supposed to win? Can they, like the fact that we're sitting here talking about a team that is in last place, that is 7 wins, and we don't have many more wins as it is. But the fact that we're even like watching like the A's play baseball, like if I'm an A's fan, like I can't even imagine like going through like that. And that's what I was worried about. I was worried about going through like I just couldn't. My friend texted me. He goes, "We're on pace to go like 41 and 121." I'm like, that's wonderful. I'm like, this needs to end at some point, right? So that's the thing with the Royals. It's just I have so much PTSD with this team that it's like I want to say that they're gonna go and they're gonna win 3 out of 4 because that's what they should do and that's what they need to do. Like this is a need to know and need to do series, the next 2 series. Like they need to go out there and whoop the shit out of the Reds, beat the shit out of the Royals, have some momentum going up against the Astros, because you're telling me that after still not having a home run, you're not telling me that Jose Abreu's not going to come up in Houston versus the White Sox and hit a home run about 800 feet out of Comiskey Park. You're crazy. So I know I'm looking way ahead, but like,
that'll be his first home run of the season.
That's what I'm saying. It's like we talked about pitchers pitching Cy Young, pitchers doing this and that. You need anything? No. Oh, okay. Oh, are you? Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm almost done if you want to wait. Okay. All right. But yeah, no. So, and that's the thing. It's just the White Sox. It just, man, I don't know. So I'm going to say best case scenario, 3 out of 4. I'm going to say that I'm going to agree with Justin on this one. I'm going to say they take 2 out of 2. And it's possible they could sweep. We've seen it happen. I remember watching a 4-game sweep before. I don't know what year it was. Maybe I don't know. But it's possible. And like it just like that's the type of thing that you need to do to get this fan base back. Because again, even after today, like we were talking about like the lineup and everything, and Deech and I and everything, and everybody was like, it just like it just so much like they just like people just want to continue to win. And it's like, so it's like if they can go like 5 out of 6, like 4 out of 6, or no, 7. I'm sorry, 6 out of 7, 5 out of 7. Like next week, we're sitting here and we're so much more happier than, because we could, they should be sitting here next week at 15 and 24. And that's still not great. Like it's sad that that's still not great, but that's where they put themselves in this position is they now have to climb their way up. And there's a lot of teams that have to do that, but we're White Sox fans, and I guess that's just what we have to do, right? So we just have to hope for the best and pray that these next 2 and this next week, because we play the next 7 days, we play every day, no off days for this team. I don't think they have an off day after they play the Astros. So it's a need to know and a need to do 2 series. They need to just I don't know. So now that we're at the end of the show and we've previewed everything, let's do one of our favorite things. Let's do bold predictions and guarantees. And Deech, I'll start with you this week. What's some bold predictions and a guarantee you got for this week?
My bold prediction for this week is over the next 7 games. Eloy is going to hit at least 4 home runs. Eloy's bat, if you look at his batting average last week when we were not happy at all, he was batting like under 200, like blatantly, like just he was not looking even remotely talented at the plate. Today, at some point of the game, I saw he's batting like 250 now. So, I mean, to have your average just shoot up like that, the guy's bat is hot, and you just ride that out at this point. I mean, people in the chat earlier were saying, "Oh, do you think Eloy gets a day off?" And I was like, "He's not. When your bat is this hot, the worst thing you can do is give him a day off, because then that could be what cools him down, and it completely down spirals the whole thing." So he doesn't, I feel like, focus where. That's what the DH thing, it sometimes worries you, because you can tell he's just one of those where he's more engaged when he's like fully into the game. Whereas like sitting as a DH, that's why Brady didn't like it. He just didn't feel like he was like a part of the game, because all you're doing is just sitting on the bench and waiting for your at bats. So,
yep. So is that your guarantee or your bold prediction?
no, that's my bold prediction.
Okay. What's your guarantee?
No, you're not guaranteeing 4 homers in the 7 games from Eloy.
I just wanted to make sure. Hey, I mean, hey, it's
no. It's always good to check.
I mean, hey, it's possible though. Like we've seen what he can do. Like he could hit 2 home runs in a game. It's possible. So what you got for your guarantee? What's the guarantee there?
My guarantee is that every starter will go at least 6 innings per start over this entire week.
Troll. Look at Justin's house.
Honestly, can you say
that's the case? Then I hope they win both series.
Yeah, the rotation has looked very good recently. I mean, there's these outings where it's hard to judge when you're playing the Rays. The Rays are just smashing every team.
Everybody. And that was the one thing I was thinking about too. It's like the Rays are doing that to everybody. So it's not just like
based off of that, but the rotation has definitely turned it around. I missed some of the starts just because I was busy during the weekend. Like I was paying attention to like the box score, but I did not.
Did you go to any games this week? Did you go Sunday or this week at all?
No, I actually, my next 2 games are against the Astros.
Oh, okay.
Walking into that with an 0-3 record on the season, so it could go really downhill for me.
All right, well, that will be the deciding factor. If we lose, you're not allowed to back at the stadium the rest of the year.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. Justin, what do you got?
All right. My guarantee is that Dylan Cease will have his best start since the opener in his next start in Kansas City. And my bold prediction, I'll say Yaz is a really big weekend in Cincinnati. I'm talking, multiple extra base hits, big RBIs. Feels like he's due for one of them.
Hey, that would be golden. That will work. That would be perfect.
I've been impressed with Yaz. I mean, he may not be like crushing home runs, but we went into the season thinking like we could have like a partially injured guy who wasn't able to block like he used to and all that stuff. I mean, defensively, not that he's been 100% perfect, but it's a big improvement from what we saw last year when he was playing injured the entire year. So,
right.
And that's the biggest thing. It's just like if these guys can stay healthy and like it's just like I just want to see like them just play together. I don't know, man. It just but yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like if they could just stay, and you see it's contagious when they hit the ball. We saw it on Sunday. They scored 7 runs, 5 with 2 outs. Like he just hit the ball and didn't think Adam Hazley would be the one to score the win or the tying run and that set it up to do all that. So, and it's just so, but yeah, I mean, it should be interesting, but I'm going to go and I'm going to say, because we didn't even mention it. I didn't even mention it, but the new home run thing is a good thing that they have too, with the jacket, the hat. They needed something like that.
Yeah.
Like they needed, like every team has one. And for a while there, they just didn't have it. So now it gives them a little bit of adrenaline to do something. So my guarantee this week is he's got no home runs, and it's going to happen somewhere, somehow, some way this week in the next 7 days. Elvis Andrews hitting his first home run, and he's wearing the hat and he's wearing the jacket. And then my bold prediction, I am going to say, and I am going to try to be as bold as possible, but I've realized as I try to listen to these back and I try to see if I'm right, my bold predictions are always way off. So
guarantee a no-hitter the one game where I was just like, damn, if this comes true, like you're the second coming of Jesus. But
I mean, that sometimes I just got to take a chance. So this week, I'm going to try and I'm going to say, and I'm going to be bold. And I'm going to say, with this week, I'm going to say, bold prediction that 2 games in a row. I don't know which games. It could be 2 versus the Reds, 1 versus the Reds, 1 versus the Royals. I'm going to say they score 10 plus runs in 2 games this week to get that run differential back up a little bit because it's like negative 60 something right now. It's awful.
yeah, we just stopped looking at it.
So have I. I glanced at
so
it like an hour or two. I'm just like, damn. So I'm gonna say they get a little firepower and they score 20 runs in 2 games. And then I don't know. And then I feel like that will be the one game where they play the guy that has an 8-run ERA and then they score no runs. Because that's another thing they do. They score 10 runs a game, and then the next day they come out and get 1 run. So should be very interesting to see what happens. But before we go, I want to go through the chat, see what everybody is saying. Hassan says, let's roll up for Tino's birthday. Hassan, my birthday is Saturday. I put the little birthday thing in since this is our only baseball show this week. Figured all the baseball fans, I know there's a lot of baseball people that don't like wrestling. So let's roll up, though, on Saturday, guys, for your boy's birthday. Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday, Hassan. Hope you had a great day, man. We got Joe in the house. He says, what's up, Joe? Did I remember who? Oh, we were talking about this last night for Dynamite. Tino, I've got a response on the short video of your birthday. Man, Joe's out here, man. So he's putting a 1-minute video together for my birthday of all the YouTubers out there and people on Twitter for my man. People, so you got to find some good people out there. We got Hassan. Thanks. What's up, Hassan? Thanks for being here. Let's see if we got any that are. All right, we got Jacob. What's up, Jacob? Thanks for coming and hanging out. Almost a month until the Cardinals come to Chicago. How excited are you guys for the Cardinals to come? I've been to 1 Cardinals game, and Yadier Molina hit a grand slam, and the Sox lost 12-4.
I mean, they stink, so hopefully it should be some wins.
So, I mean, hopefully.
They a better division.
I just want to be. I mean, no. They need to. I hope the Cubs continue to lose because we can't be worse than the Cubs. I don't care what happens, man. We always got to be better than the Cubs. Actually, 2 months. When do we play the Cardinals? Is it like
July?
Troll. Let's see. We got AJ in the building. What's up, AJ? Happy early birthday. Eric, happy early birthday. Everybody saying happy early birthday. You guys all better be here on Saturday for Backlash. Coming and hanging out. He says he's coming to celebrate Dakota Kai's birthday. Deech, he said, I don't want to celebrate Tino's. He said, I want to celebrate Dakota Kai's. Troll. Well, guys, I don't like you no more, guys. I don't like you in the chat no more. But that's all the chats that we got here for today, guys. If anybody has any other questions, go comment. Go hit that like button on the episode, guys. Go follow the Southside Boys on Twitter, Southside Boys 23. Before we go, guys, you got anything else you want to say? Any last ending show sentences? Anything else you got?
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Justin.
Yeah, cheers to your birthday. Hopefully they win on your birthday.
Hopefully. Man, they've won the last few years, so I'm praying. It's one of like the only things I look forward to. I'm just like, come on, just please. I don't need to be in a bad mood. But thank you guys. I appreciate it so much. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit throughout the week and everything like that. And hopefully it's a good week. I mean, I feel like this week was a little bit more positive, and White Sox fans weren't ready to jump off of a bridge until today again. So at least we got a couple good days.
Few days off and wanted to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, they're back on it, though, after today. They're ready to get back on it. But, guys, that's all we got here today for the Southside Boys. Episode number 7. Can't believe we've done 7 of these. We'll be back next week for episode number 8 as we're celebrating 2 months already doing this, guys. Can't believe it's already been 2 months, 8 episodes. But we'll be back here recapping the Royals and the Reds, getting you ready for the Astros and whoever they play after the Astros. I can't keep track. I think it's the Guardians, actually. But, guys, I hope you guys all have a great week. We'll be live on Tino's time tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown, 1 day away from Backlash. Tino's going to be on a trivia show tonight, so go check out the Will Gray Show. Botched Sports podcast on YouTube, everybody. Go check it out. I'll put it on the community page. Check out your boy Tino. Maybe I'll win something like I won WWE 2K23. But, guys, I hope you guys all have a great one. Remember to go follow all the social medias. Tino's Time on SoundCloud and Spotify. Tino's Time 1996 on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Tino's Time Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. We're on Twitch, Tino's Gaming 2023. Hit that like button if you have not yet. Subscribe as we're on the road to 2,000. This is the first Southside Boys episode since we've got monetized here. So, guys, cheers to that. We're monetized here on the Southside Boys. And, guys, just thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate it so much. I hope you guys all have a great Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, Friday morning, and I will see you guys all tomorrow night on Tino's Time for Friday Night SmackDown.